Hello, happy Saturday. It is time for some crafting fun. Welcome to Little Sister Chalks, where we like to upcycle, recycle, and do fast and fun crafts. I'm Luana, and I'd just like to say hello and welcome. Pop in, say hi. If you hit the replay, also say hi. Let me know where you're from. And if you have crafty dog loving friends, share this with them. We're going to do a quick little craft today. I'm going to watch comments as well, so if you pop on, please say hi. I've got a cute little bone that I found at one of the craft stores, and we added some hooks, so this will be a little leash holder, and I'm going to paint it. I'm going to put a stencil on it, and then I've got cute little, which I've already started to paint, a little paw print that I made from hot glue and a silicone mold. So we'll finish that up and we'll put that on. And as I was looking at my supplies, I thought maybe I should have done brown and white or off-white instead of black, but we're going with black because that's where I started. And maybe I'll do the second one in brown so that we see the difference and see what we like. So what I'm going to do now is tilt you down. I'm going to bring you a little bit closer so that you can see what I'm working on. Get my computer out of the way. There we go. All right, so I'm going to paint this with some folk art chalk paint, and it's called Cottage White, so it's a little bit off-white. So I'm just going to paint real quick. I have one ready that's dry that we'll stencil on, but we'll just spend a couple minutes painting this little guy up. So I hope you had a good start to your Labor Day weekend here in the States. And I think Canada's Labor Day might have been Friday, or was it last week? I don't remember, but I think it's close to ours. So if you're in Canada, I hope you are celebrating a long weekend as well. Our weather is supposed to be gorgeous. So if you're on, say hi. Hey, Patty, I see you. And you're very near to me, so your weather is probably very close to ours. It's supposed to be a really, really nice weekend here in the Chicago area. But if you're from somewhere else, let us know. Are you looking at a good weekend? Are you looking at rain? We're finally cooling down a bit. It's been pretty darn hot, which I don't mind. I am a summer lover, so I'm a little sad summer's coming to an end. We were talking about when to close up the pool yesterday, and that makes me sad. But I'll get in there this weekend and give it a last hurrah. And if it's really hot, next weekend I'll probably do the same. But then after that, we'll probably close it up. Sometimes when the angle of the sun is different and the air is a little different, even if it's hot, it's still not swimming weather. And we don't have a heater, so we can't really extend our swimming season. Well, my swimming season. My husband does not use the pool, but he always indulges me, and we get one. And I get to enjoy it. When the kids were little, they enjoyed it too, but no kids now. Oh no, Patty, unstable internet is no fun. Well, if you have trouble, this will always be available on my page, so you can always catch the replay if you're interested in what we're doing here. If you like what you see and you're a dog lover, share this with your friends. I like to do all different crafts, and August was National Dog Month, I believe, and I didn't even realize it, so I've missed the chance to do lots of crafts, so we're going to do them in the next few weeks instead. I think September might be Responsible Dog Ownership or Pet Ownership Month. So we'll keep the pet theme going for a little bit, because I really should have done it during August. Let me know, are you a cat lover? Are you a dog lover? Are you just a pet lover? Growing up, we did not have we had fish. And my mother tried a bird for my middle sister, and she was allergic, so the bird didn't last long. So we really didn't have pets. She didn't really like dogs. She liked them from a distance. She thought they were cute, but she didn't want them in the house. So we didn't have pets growing up. And, well, yeah, my oldest sister, when she got married, her husband had a dog. And then my middle sister got a dog as soon as they got a house. Got married, and then we did the same. Our first little guy was a dachshund. He was very cute. And when we adopted him, he was with his sister, and we did not take both of them. We just took him. And then I was sad, and I really regretted not grabbing both. We should have done that. Ah, Mitty. I love the stories about her. Dog sitting is almost as good as having your own. All right, so we're done painting. I am going to set that aside because we don't need to watch paint dry. And then just to show you, when I was doing the paw, I put down a layer of that same color. I think it helps kind of brighten up what goes on top, although sometimes I like the muted, so it just depends what I'm doing. All right, we're going to move this, and I know I'm going to stick my hand in it, because that's what I do. Although I don't think it's real crafting if you don't get messy. That's just me. Okay, this looks like a lion now. I've taped up the sides, the border. I don't want to get the stencil and chalk paste on, so I've kind of taped it up. It's not perfect, but that's okay. And I don't want to get my hot glue gun in the way here. Just gonna move that out of the way. All right, I'm gonna grab my stencil. It is a retired one, classic damask pattern. We're gonna make this kind of a little fancy, because we're gonna, sorry about the crinkling, I didn't think to take it out of the packaging before we got on. Get that out of the way. Okay, so we'll make it a little fancy. We'll dress it up a little bit at the end. All right, so I'm peeling my stencil away from the backer. And Chalk Couture stencils are sticky on one side, and I have fuzz on it. And they have mesh silk screen where the paste will go through. So I'm going to fuzz, and fuzzing is just taking a little bit of the adhesive away. It sounds counterintuitive, but oh, you know what I'm going to do before I put this on is wax a little bit. So it sounds counterintuitive to take some of the stickiness away, but because I didn't seal this with anything, I don't want it to pull up the paint. Although if it does, you know, it just looks rustic, and you just say that's what you meant to do. And I'm just using a little bit of wax. That'll help protect the stencil a little bit and hopefully help us not pull up the paint. And I'm not using a whole lot. You don't need a whole lot. I'm just gonna rub it on there and try to make sure I hit all the spots. Okay. That should be pretty good. And like I said, if I rub some off, that's okay. Or peel some off. That'll be fine. All right, get that out of the way. Now my hands feel waxy. Blech. I don't like that feeling. All right, so I have my stencil, and I'm just gonna check. I'm not sure I'm laying it quite yet, but I see another fuzz. And I just don't want that on the silkscreen portion. If it's on the teal portion, it's fine. But it may cause bleeds and things that we don't want. All right, let's position. Try not to get it stuck anywhere else, but you know what? I kind of like that. I don't have a full picture of any of the stencil, but I think that's fine. And then I'm just going to press down so that it sticks and there's no bubbles, because bubbles will cause bleeds, and those are not fun. Other accidents you can deal with, but bubbles are not fun. And then sometimes the wax also, if you do have a little bit of a bleed or a mistake, you can get it up, especially with lighter color, paste. Black, maybe not so much, but we shall see what happens. All right, and I have a squeegee. I've opened up my black paste. I used it recently, so I'm not going to stir it. And I'm just going to take a little bit onto the squeegee and then put it onto the stencil. And I've taped up the border, like I said. I was trying to be careful, but it may take us forever if I am too careful. So I'll just do my best. Hopefully we don't have a lot that goes into the groove. And if we do, then I'll just paint the groove. We'll see what happens. Like I said, you can deal with most anything when you're crafting. You just have to be a little creative. All right, and I'm just making sure that all my silk screen is covered. And you don't need a lot. You don't want like a lot left over. So if you just go back and kind of scrape up the excess, any excess you can put back into the jar as well. So you get lots of use out of the jar of paste. And then lots of use out of the stencil as well. So you can wash it off with water and reuse it. They say 10 to 12 times. Honestly, I am going, it'll be my 5th year anniversary in October. And I think I still have stencils from the very beginning that I still use, and so I've used them probably much more than the typical, you know, kind of what they recommend. And if you lose a little bit of the stickiness, you can get that back usually by wiping a Clorox wipe on it. So you don't ever want to use baby wipes on stencils because of the oils, but Clorox wipes to help you clean, to put the stickiness back on the back, that all works great. But it just water as well. I like to use, we have board erasers, and I'm just going to put that extra paste right back in there and close it up. We have board erasers that help sometimes with a chalkboard surface if you have some like ghosting, but I use it to clean my stencils as well. All right, come on. And I'm just peeling back. Ooh, that looks pretty good. The paint dry, that chalk paint actually dries pretty quickly. I think I might have painted it a half hour or so before we got on. The longer you can let things dry, the better, but you can always help it along with a blow dryer or a drying tool. So yeah, the chalk paint dries pretty quickly. It depends on the paint, I think. So there we go. We have our stencil, and I am going to hit this with the drying tool just a little bit before I pull off the tape and we go to the next step. Okay, so here's drying tool, but like I said, you can use a hair dryer, blow dryer. Works just as well. That kind of blows around, you know, stencils and paper and things that you might have laying on your craft table. So I kind of like this tool. It doesn't blow as hard. And you can kind of see the chalk changing color, and it's not as shiny once it's dry. I'm just afraid I'm going to stick my finger in it because I always, either in paint or in chalk paste, something, I'm always sticking my finger in. You can see this little spot didn't quite go through, and I think I'm just going to leave it. You could take a little paintbrush or a little Q-tip, not Q-tip, toothpick, and kind of touch up spots, but I'm going to distress a little bit, so I'm okay if it's not perfect. Okay. And I'm going to leave that to the side and just let it, before I peel off all the paint, or tape, painter's tape. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to leave that for a minute, and we'll look at the paw. So, like I said, I painted it with a coat of the chalk paint, the ivory-ish color, and then I did just a craft paint. You could use chalk paste if you wanted, but I just did a black craft paint. And then, like I said, I was looking at the things I have around me to distress with, and I thought brown might have been a better choice. But I'm just going to use, we're just going to play a little bit because I don't know. I'm going to use antique linen. This is distressing ink, and I'm just going to hit it. Oh, it's not showing any difference. It's just showing wet. I thought maybe it would be a little bit light, but it is not. So that didn't do anything for me. I'm gonna let that dry just a minute because that didn't work the way I wanted. I have a lot of brown, like dark finishing waxes, but that's not gonna work either. I was thinking I'd hit the little nubs either with gold or copper, and I'm kind of thinking copper. And maybe that'll help us a little bit. Let me grab a paper towel because that ink is not drying. See, it's not as dark as it looks on there. It's more of a little beigey color. That's okay. Well, maybe it is drying. It's just still dark. All right, I'm going to get my fingers in here. And you can see here, I've already got stuff all over. You can use a brush, a rag, a sponge, whatever you want on the gilding wax. I'm a finger crafter. I like to get my fingers in there. Okay, that looks neat. What do you guys think of that? And I always start with very little because you can always add. You can't take away very easily. And I'm just hitting the edges as well. I don't know if you can kind of see how that's looking. I may just do a little bit more. It's cute, isn't it? Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to clean my finger. And then I'm going to peel off these pieces of tape. It was hard to go around the curves. So much easier when you have straight edges to tape, but I did it. And you didn't have to watch me. Suffered through that one by myself. That was a nice big piece. That was nice. All right. What I was thinking I was going to do is just distress this a little bit with, I have black distressing ink. I didn't want walnut. Where's my favorite? The Vintage Photo is my favorite. I might try these two. And then a little bit of the copper, again, just in spots. And I was maybe going to take a brush and go into the groove with the copper. So we'll kind of see. So I'm just going to take, I'm afraid, just going to take the black and hit, and I don't like that at all. So I'm going to hit more gently because I'm not liking how that looks. And I'm going to do less spots. That's when I was looking at what I had pulled out. I was kind of afraid the black was going to be just too much. So we'll just do a little bit in spots. And then we'll try the Vintage Photo, which is like a brownish color. Not dark. This is maybe just a little bit too dark. Just going to go around with this rag a little bit and take a little bit off. So I like to just test things out, play around. That's the fun of crafting. And then when I find something that works, I forget to write down what I did. I was working on some pumpkins that I'll show you probably in a few weeks, and I really love how the first one turned out, and I can't quite remember what I did. But yeah, the painter shape was a little bit of a journey, and I'm glad you didn't have to watch me do that. All right, and I'm just gonna hit a little bit again with the brown. Kind of like actually the multiple colors. And then I've got a little ink pad, and I'm just gonna go around that one because I use this color all the time. And that's what's on this little pad. And I'm just gonna hit the insides as well, just so it's not so bright. You can do as much as you like. Like I said, I usually start with a little bit because you can always add more. It's really tough to take it away. And I'm gonna just do the sides so that they aren't so pristine. Okay, there's that. Now for the copper. What do you think? Should I go in this little groove and try to do... I won't do it all with you guys because it's going to take quite a while. Let me find a little brush. A little paintbrush that I like. And of course the one I want, I can't get my fingers on. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna take a little bit and we'll just try, see what we think. It's not really looking coppery, but it's giving a little bit of definition. So I don't mind it. Yep. And it doesn't have to be perfect because obviously, there we go, I was not perfect on that one. Can you guys see? I'm going to bring it up just so you look. Down here is where I've done. Do we like that? I guess I'm committed. I've started, so. And I don't actually think it's going to take as long as I thought, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. These edges are a little rough. And I think I will take my finger and just do a little copper on the insides. And then we'll attach our little paw print and our craft will be done. Now you could always seal it if you want. If you think it'll get wet, I would recommend it. The chalk paste is pretty darn durable even if it gets wet. If you don't rub it, it really doesn't go anywhere. So my story that I like to tell is, might have been the first, I think it was the very first year, it might have been the second year, so probably 2020, I did a pumpkin face on a real pumpkin, because we don't really carve, and put it outside, and it was out there from sometime in October through the end of the year. It was January sometime, because I had just turned it around after Halloween, so it was just the, you know, just a regular pumpkin. Now the pumpkin was not in great shape by that time, but I just wanted to see how long that chalk paste was going to last, and it was out in rain and snow, and the face was still fine, even though the pumpkin itself was kind of kind of not so much. But so if you don't wipe it, it will be fine. But if you wanted to just be extra sure, you can seal it. There's spray sealers that you can use, or we now have partnered with Dixie Belle, and they have a product called Gator Hide. Oh, I don't know why I'm closing that up because I'm not done. A product called Gator Hide that will seal things up. So, I don't have enough on my finger, I don't think, because I'm not seeing it. Oh, I see it when I turn it. Do you like it? You see, Patty said, wow. I'm hoping that's a good thing. I think that's all I'm going to do. Now I have copper on my fingers again. But there we go. That's the base. And I can always go back and add some more if I want, but I think I kind of like it. It's just enough. Let me clean my finger again. Oh, I'm a little bit messier this time. Let me grab a baby wipe. So I do like to keep baby wipes handy to clean my fingers, so I don't have to get up and down to the sink. Ah, thanks, Patty. But again, don't use these on your stencils. There's oil in them, and that's not good for that. All right, I'm cleaner now. So now, what I will do is decide where I want this little guy. Let me take him off the tape. I just did that to help my hands not get so. What do we think? Like there? I kind of like that. All right, so I've got just a tacky glue, just a crafter's glue, and I have my hot glue gun as well, which seems to be dripping over there. And the hot glue just will dry faster. It just sometimes is not a permanent fixture. So I'll just put a little bit of glue. And again, I made these from silicone molds and hot glue, which I'm having fun with some of that stuff. And I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue around the edges. And that'll just help it stick faster. And then I just kind of want it right there. Looks good, and it's already down, so that was it. That was where it was going to go. And there we go. A little leash holder for our doggy furry friends. I hope you've enjoyed this craft, and I will see you next Saturday. Have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Enjoy, and we'll just keep doing dog and pet crafts. See ya. Bye.